WrestleMania week is just around the corner. As a matter of fact, it is here, and we are excited for Boom Broadcasting. I'm your host of the Drop the Mic Wrestling podcast. I'm your host of Out of Pocket with Michael Davis, and we are celebrating WrestleMania week. We have a full slate of content for you, and this is your place to consume all that. So if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button down below. Be one of the many hundreds, over 500 subscribers you will be joining. And if you already are one of our subscribers, please share this with a friend that you think is excited for WrestleMania week. This is going to be huge for Boom Broadcasting. Not only do we have Monday Night Raw, we have Tuesday Night NXT, we have Friday Night SmackDown, we have the Hall of Fame, we have Stand and Deliver, we have WrestleMania Night 1, Night 2, and just like WrestleMania week is packed for WWE, it is going to be packed for Boom Broadcasting. This is your home for it, and so we are going to be bringing you some really special content. First of all, there's not going to be one, but two Drop the Mic Wrestling podcast episodes covering Night 1 predictions and Night 2 predictions with a special guest. I'll also be appearing on other networks to help them in their wrestling content. I'll be sharing those on my social medias. And we have special videos throughout the week to give you, including this one. This is an unaffiliated video for Boom Broadcasting, but this is telling you, before we get into the thick of WrestleMania week, here's what WWE must do in order to make WrestleMania 41 special. Starting off with the obvious, you have to give Randy Orton a WrestleMania match. Get him on the card. Now, it is no surprise WWE has done this before. They have done this with John Cena, who arrived and bought a ticket because he didn't have a WrestleMania match. And then at the very last second, The Undertaker came out and squashed John Cena at the Show of Shows. We also saw Seth Rollins walk into WrestleMania without an opponent at WrestleMania 38, only to hear that wrestling has more than one royal family, and Cody Rhodes made his anticipated WWE return to beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So this is no stranger to WWE. Unfortunately, circumstances surrounding Kevin Owens forced their hand, and now Randy Orton, instead of potentially punting Kevin Owens out of Las Vegas, Randy Orton instead is left off the WrestleMania card, and they've teased over the last couple of weeks that Randy Orton could be getting a match. Now, he did lay out SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis with an RKO, the three most dangerous letters in all of entertainment. But it might not be Nick Aldis. There's also rumors that Solo Sikoa might be considered for Randy Orton's opponent at WrestleMania. I mentioned last week on the SmackDown Nightcap with Mouthing Off with Mike that you can find available on demand through Boom Broadcasting. That might not be the best idea because that could also hinder the Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu rivalry that we might be seeing here in the future. Now, for Randy Orton, he could also be fighting potentially Rey Fenix. Penta's on the WrestleMania card in a fatal four-way for the Intercontinental title. Maybe Rey Fenix finds his way onto WrestleMania just like his brother. Or we could see the returning Aleister Black, who's coming from All Elite Wrestling, and vignettes are continued to show ahead of Aleister Black's pending return to WWE. But no matter what you do, you have to get Randy Orton on WrestleMania, and there needs to be no ambiguity whether he is on this weekend. Currently, there is 7 matches on night 1 for WrestleMania, and there is 6 matches on night 2. Maybe we understand that Randy Orton will fill out that 7th match at WrestleMania 41. We don't entirely need to know his opponent. We can keep that a surprise, but we need to know that the Viper will be at WrestleMania and will be competing for that intrigue of who he competes against. Now, there are 7 matches on night 1. There are 6 matches on night 2. I'm not asking for a 9 to 10 match card, but there are some people that have been lost in the shuffle and that's the mid-card and tag team champions. Obviously, Lyra Valkyria is competing, but she isn't defending the Women's Intercontinental Championship. She's actually challenging alongside Bayley for the Women's Tag Team Championships against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. But the other Women's mid-card champion, Chelsea Green, is not on the card right now, and that could be an issue. I mentioned on the SmackDown Nightcap last week with Mouthing Off with Mike that they could potentially have Chelsea Green file a grievance and get her and Piper Niven inserted into that women's tag team title match to get them on the show. I'm not sure if Chelsea Green is going to be on the WrestleMania card, but if nothing else, she needs to be in the opening match Friday SmackDown in Las Vegas to put some shine on the Women's United States Champion. It's the first year with Women's Mid-Card Champions, and not everybody can get a spot on WrestleMania, but you need to get her a spot on the weekend. And the Street Profits, I believe they should have been on the WrestleMania main card, but instead they put the War Raiders against the New Day on the WrestleMania card and have left the Street Profits off. And apparently, as of right now, the Street Profits will defend their tag team championships against the Motor City Machine Guns. Again, I believe this is a missed opportunity for WWE, but you have to get them to main event Friday Night SmackDown and give them a 25, 30-minute match, more time than they would ever get on the WrestleMania card, and make them feel special, because the SmackDown Tag Division, ever since Mercy Machine Guns returned, ever since DIYs turned heel, ever since the Street Profits have this newfound attitude, it has been elevated, but we need to make progress in getting these champions recognized, not only this week, but so they can be recognized at WrestleMania 42. Now, caught in the middle of some drama is the night one main event manager, Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is caught in the middle, especially in this list of 5 things WWE needs to do for WrestleMania week to be as special as that can be. Paul Heyman has been in the middle of a love triangle, love rectangle, whatever you want to call it. Paul Heyman is in the center of it. And it is because he is the wise man of the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. He is the best friend of CM Punk. And Seth Rollins is just standing by, really envious and jealous of not only Roman Reigns and his success, but the love and the embrace CM Punk has had ever since returning to WWE after a 10-year absence. Paul Heyman is a huge storyline, and I covered this on last week's Drop the Mic Wrestling podcast episode you can find available on demand on the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel. I covered who Paul Heyman should choose, whether it be Roman, whether it be CM Punk, whether it be Seth Rollins. There is a huge segment that is being rumored for tonight's go-home episode of Monday Night Raw involving these 4 individuals, and what needs to happen is there needs to be no physicality between Roman, Punk, and Seth. We don't need that. We'll get that on Saturday night, WrestleMania 41, night 1. What we do need is we need Roman, we need CM Punk, and we need Seth Rollins. And to close Monday Night Raw, we need Paul Heyman in the center of that triangle, metaphorically and literally, trying to decide, is he going to be on the side of his tribal chief, on the side of his best friend, or if we'll see a new pairing that's being teased between Paul Heyman and the architect, the visionary, the revolutionary, Seth Rollins. You need to hammer home that this is a decision Paul Heyman has to and will make this weekend at WrestleMania to get fans excited for what is to come. Now, fans have not been excited about Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton. This feud has been underwhelming, other than when the promo went off script a couple weeks ago between Charlotte and Tiffany, talking about the 0-3 divorce record for Charlotte Flair, talking about Ludwig Kaiser apparently in Charlotte Flair's DMs that nobody bought, nobody bid on. We need something that is going to make this bigger, make this better. This is the Women's Royal Rumble winner who is challenging the next up and coming star in the women's division and has just fell flat for many, many weeks. And that is not what you want heading into WrestleMania. We know for a fact this will not main event WrestleMania. But we don't even know if this will open their evening WrestleMania. We just don't know because it is night one. Do you put the emphasis on Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair? I personally believe you open the show with Gunther and Jey Uso, but you need to build a strong semi-main event to where people don't become disengaged before the Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins triple threat. So my personal opinion, WWE needs to have a heavy emphasis on Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. We have seen that their promo work has not been the strongest unless it's went off script. Do you let them fly off the cuff with their promo, or do you have them in a real physical altercation? Maybe even some color happens and there's a little blood drawn before Saturday, 24 hours before their match. But Friday Night SmackDown, you have sold me on the world title matches. You have sold me on LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. You have sold me on a lot of these matches except for Charlotte and Tiffany. And you have to do that heading in to your big weekend. And the final thing WWE must do this WrestleMania week to prepare for one of the biggest weekends in the company's history, the biggest weekend of the year. John Cena must respond strong. I've mentioned on Boom Broadcasting content that John Cena is playing the guy that he is always despised. He has thrown away hustle. He is not there every week. He's thrown away loyalty. He's turned his back on his fans, and he's turned away respect. Respect for the championship, respect for the industry, respect for WWE. He's turned his back on all of that during this buildup, and that has meant that Cody Rhodes has had to be the guy on every week, on every Raw, on every SmackDown, building the WrestleMania Night 2 main event. This is the final match you will see for WrestleMania 41, and we have seen some great images and visuals over the last several years, including WrestleMania 38, Roman Reigns holding up both the WWE and Universal Championship after unifying the titles against Brock Lesnar. WrestleMania 39, Roman Reigns is standing tall as Cody Rhodes just sits in the ring deflated after falling short at WrestleMania, not being able to finish his story, which leads to the iconic image at last year's WrestleMania 40, where Cody Rhodes is lifted up by his peers. He gets the title to his mother, and he is finishing his story. But the story really just begun at that moment because now he is a year into being the WWE champion, and now he's wanting to be the face of WWE. And he's built this entire program on his own. John Cena needs to show up this week. I understand it's more about his character now, disregarding hustle, loyalty, and respect. But this is your WrestleMania main event. Not just night one. This is night two. This is the final match. This is the final image. And you need people invested and interested in sticking around the entire weekend to see the culmination of this match. John Cena isn't as strong in the ring as he used to, but he can still cut a promo. He can still generate the interest of the fans, and he has to put his best foot forward in order to do that this week. Whether he shows up tonight on Monday Night Raw, whether he shows up on Friday Night SmackDown, we need John Cena to show up and absolutely obliterate Cody Rhodes. You don't have to announce John Cena for Raw or SmackDown. All you have to do is have John Cena jump Cody, bloody him again, much like the Elimination Chamber, and then put Cody Rhodes at a deficit. Because if you don't put Cody Rhodes at a physical deficit, and if you don't have John Cena showing up, this match begins to be put on the back burner, and people will not believe that John Cena physically at this stage of his life and in his career can be a prime Cody Rhodes. So, WWE, we're begging you, please have John Cena show up. Please have John Cena look strong. And it's always somebody laying them out right before the pay-per-view, right before the big match, and then the roles get reversed the actual weekend. So for John Cena to come into this main event strong, you have to do it at the expense of your WWE champion, Cody Rhodes. Everyone, that is 5 things WWE must do this week in order to have a strong WrestleMania weekend. And Boom Broadcasting will be bringing you strong content throughout this entire week. Not only have we told you what you need to see this WrestleMania week as we approach, we will also have the Monday Night Raw nightcap hosted by Mouthing Off with Mike tonight. We will also be covering WrestleMania 21, WrestleMania 31, and why WrestleMania 41 needs to follow their leads in historic, groundbreaking pay-per-views after the milestones of 20, 30, and 40. We'll also be doing night 1 and night 2 predictions as part of the Drop the Mic Wrestling podcast. We will have a special guest for both night 1 and night 2 episodes. Wrestling Destiny is cooking up something that you'll want to stay tuned to our socials for. And then this weekend, here's the breaking news. This weekend, Saturday, WrestleMania Night 1. Sunday, WrestleMania Night 2. You get to come and be a part of Boom Broadcasting, and you get to hang out with the Boom Broadcasting team for a kickoff pre-show. Yes, so we will be having a kickoff pre-show with our Boom Broadcasting personnel talking about everything from WrestleMania Night 1. And then Night 2, we may even be talking a little bit about what happened Night 1 and what to expect during Night 2. You have an incredible slate of wrestling content on the biggest week of wrestling of the year, WrestleMania. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode, this very quick special. And we will catch you back here for more wrestling content. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing.